Hello, I'm Julian Whittle from Cumbria Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here with Mike Robinson, an asset finance broker and partner in Mulberry Asset Finance in Burton-in-Kendal, to talk about how businesses can access finance. Mike, what exactly is an asset finance broker and what is your role?
Well, firstly, good morning. Well, as a finance broker, I'm totally independent. I'm not aligned to any one finance company, and I'm authorised by the Financial Conduct Authority. Basically, I have a panel of around 30 reputable and established finance companies, so I can therefore choose the very best finance deal for the customer. All the finance companies have slightly different areas of expertise, so it's just a case of me choosing the right basket for each customer. I will normally go and visit each customer at their premises and get to understand their business and find exactly what they are looking for, and then look to arrange the best finance deal for them. For me, I see it as a throwback to the days of banking. It's all about relationships, getting to know the owners and what makes their business tick.
That's interesting because we hear that all the time. You know, people hark back to the good old days, don't they?
Yes.
The friendly bank manager who understood the business, and now a lot of banks centralise their lending decisions. Well, after the financial crisis 10 years ago, banks did tighten their lending criteria, and overnight it became much more difficult for businesses to secure loans. Yeah. Would you say have things improved since then?
Yeah, I can't speak on behalf of the clearing banks, but certainly in the asset finance world, I can honestly say that it has never been easier for an SME to obtain finance. There are so many good quality, highly efficient finance companies in the UK that have a real appetite to lend across a wide range of assets, and they do make it so easy and straightforward. I have worked in this industry about 25 years, and in the last 10 years there's been so many new specialist asset finance funders that have entered the market that are so well funded and so efficient that they can get a deal turned around in 2 to 3 days. It's really quite exciting actually, and it's brilliant for the customers.
Well, that sounds positive because last year the Chamber consulted on access to finance as part of our wider consultation on the government's industrial strategy green paper, and what we heard back then, particularly from smaller businesses, is that banks weren't prepared to lend less than £100,000 unless the loan was secured. And the thinking was that on smaller loans, sub 100,000, there wasn't enough margin for the banks to justify them doing due diligence. So they just looked and said, well, is there security there? And if there is, great, we'll lend. And if there isn't, no, we won't, rather than looking at the business plan and thinking, is this actually a sound proposition or not? Would you agree? Is that the situation?
Yeah, I think from the clearing bank's point of view, I think that's correct, because obviously in many cases they have to take legal charges over property and get solicitors involved, which we all know can be time consuming and costly. But that certainly isn't the case with finance companies. They don't need to take a legal charge over the property, or in fact they don't, and they can obtain their title to the assets through the finance agreement. So they can write deals from as little as £10,000 at really sensible margins. And because their systems and underwriting procedures are so efficient, that the smaller deals can be written at margins that are acceptable both to the customer and the funder. So really it's a win-win.
So you deal with businesses looking for finance every day. What sorts of things are they looking to finance?
Wow, I mean, crikey, a whole range of assets in all shapes and sizes. These can range from cars, commercial vehicles, excavators, CNC machines, forestry, agriculture equipment, computer equipment. The list really is endless. If it's tangible, it can be financed.
But not working capital then?
No, it's got to be specifically for assets.
Right.
But the age is not a barrier. Assets up to 10 or 15 years old can be financed.
Right. So Cumbria obviously has a large number of farming and hospitality businesses. Do they face any particular challenges in securing lending, and is there an appetite from lenders to assist businesses in these sectors?
Absolutely. I do a lot of business in both these sectors, and there are really some fantastic finance companies out there that specialise in both areas. I mean, let's take farming first. Finance companies like Hitachi Farm Finance and Aldermore, they have a real knowledge of farming and are really keen to assist. As we know, there are a lot of dealer finance schemes out there that offer 0% on new equipment. But a lot of farmers, for example, look to buy older equipment and vehicles and do need other funders. A wide variety of assets can be financed from these other funders, which include tractors, balers, combine harvesters, And also in the renewable energy market, they'll do biomass boilers, wind turbines, solar panels, anaerobic digesters, which obviously is quite prevalent at the moment.
Okay. What about hospitality?
In the hospitality, again, some fantastic finance companies. For example, where a hotel, a cafe or a restaurant is looking to refurbish or upgrade, there are many funders who will finance catering equipment such as cookers, fridges, display units, tills, as well as furniture, curtains, carpets. Again, the list is endless there.
And what you were saying earlier, it doesn't necessarily have to be brand new equipment.
Not at all. No, absolutely. Yeah, fantastic. Really good.
So talk me through the various finance options available.
Okay, so the main option really is straightforward hire purchase, and this is where the customer wants to own the asset at the end. So basically they locate the asset where they want to buy. So say a commercial vehicle, they'll go to the dealer and they agree the price. I would then get the deal agreed with a suitable funder and arrange for the invoice to be made out to the finance company, and I would simply go and get the customer to sign the hire purchase deal at the customer's premises, and the finance company would pay the dealer, so the customer then can go and collect his asset. Deposits and repayment periods can vary. 10% deposit normally over 3, 4, 5 years. Leasing is now very similar to hire purchase, but it tends to be used for the more unsecured assets like computer equipment, and deposits are just normally one rental. Arranging a hire purchase is really straightforward and can be arranged in a matter of days, actually.
I was going to say, how quick is it?
Just to give you an example, so on a Monday morning I could get a call from, say, an accountant, and they've introduced me to a new customer who wants to buy, I don't know, a £50,000 machine. I'll nip across and visit him in the afternoon, get all the information from him, get his accounts, have a chat with him, find out about the business, do a short report, get that across to the funder in the Tuesday morning. Approval will come back within 2 or 3 hours through online. I can then arrange for the dealer to finance, and so literally I can go and sign that deal up on the Wednesday morning, and the deal will be paid out. So from Monday to Wednesday, £50,000-100,000 deal can be sorted out. So it's fantastic, really, so slick.
And if you go into one of these lenders as opposed to a bank, I mean, we're talking about more expensive. Is it more expensive in terms of APR?
No, I would say that they certainly compete. Yeah, these are really big, well-funded banks, so the rates, certainly comparable with the banks. Absolutely, maybe even cheaper, actually. Yeah.
So we talked about hire purchase. What other options are there?
Well, the other one which I'm doing quite a lot of is, which is very popular, is called invoice discounting, and this is a real alternative to overdraft funding for growing businesses. Yeah. And this allows a company to immediately release funds which are tied up on unpaid invoices, so that which allows them to put the funds straight back into the business instead of waiting the 60 to 90 days that they get paid. So basically, they just simply provide a copy of the invoice to the funder that they have raised to their customer for work completed, and the funder will normally immediately advance, say, 80% of this amount, and then they'll take their fees eventually when the final bill's paid. So it just really releases cash flow, and drives it, and that's good for expanding businesses. Yeah,
and a lot of the banks offer that as an option.
They do,
as well.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
What about businesses with a poor credit history? I mean, are they beyond help, and are they able to refinance existing assets to release cash?
Definitely not beyond help. The first thing I would do here as a broker is always go and visit the customer and sit down with them and find out exactly the reason for the poor credit. Often there is a valid reason for this, and such as a large bad debt, previous poor health of the owner, a loss of a large customer, or they've just taken the eye off the ball. A lot of the customers, certainly that I find, small sole proprietors, are really good at their own operation, driving the vehicle, operating the plant, but they're very poor in admin, and sometimes that does have an impact upon the credit rating. So I think situations like this, it's very important to be honest and open with the funder. So I get all the details. I'll go to the funder and say, look guys, it's a really good customer, good business, but you will find a little bit of adverse information. So we'll get to the bottom of this. And as long as the customer has taken steps to rectify this, then the finance companies will be fine with that. I mean, maybe they'll look for a bigger deposit, or they might want a personal guarantee. But there's certainly the finance companies, in my estimation, are really proactive and really try and help a small local business, to grow.
The receptor, that sounds promising.
Absolutely.
Now, what about businesses looking to borrow in currencies other than sterling, or who need to make progress payments to foreign suppliers, for example? Yeah,
again, not a problem to the finance companies. They're really switched on. It's quite common. It's very easily accommodated. So many of the reputable funders will agree to finance assets that have been bought abroad. They can also forward book the currency if required, and they'll simply pay the supplier directly in the foreign currency, and then convert the currency to the sterling, obviously on the day of delivery, and then do it on a normal hire purchase basis. Same with progress payments, which are often required if it's a big piece of machinery. They'll simply charge interest on the progress payments which they have made, and then when again the deal is ready to go live, they'll roll the interest up into the amount financed, and again put it on a hire purchase. So yeah, very straightforward.
Okay. I mean, increasingly businesses are looking beyond conventional lenders. What are your views on P2P lenders such as Funding Circle, and have you come across businesses that have used crowdfunding?
Well, I've certainly used the Funding Circle many times actually for unsecured loans, and the Funding Circle, as people probably know, is a government-backed lending platform which effectively links savers with SMEs looking to borrow, normally between £25,000 and £250,000 for a wide range of uses: expansion, stock purchase, recruitment, or even to repay and consolidate debt. I can't really speak highly enough of this facility. It takes about 15 minutes to apply online, and a decision is normally given within 24 hours. The Funding Circle normally just need last 12 months accounts and a copy of their bank statements, and everything is done online. And once it's agreed, the funds can be released, and it all can be done online. So yeah, very slick process. Very impressed.
Okay, thanks very much for your time, Mike.
Pleasure.
Before we go, it's worth mentioning the Northern Powerhouse Investment Fund. This uses money from the UK government, the British Business Bank, the European Regional Development Fund and the European Investment Bank to help businesses start up, scale up and stay ahead. It aims to plug gaps in provision of commercial finance and provides loans from £25,000 up to £750,000 and equity finance from £50,000 up to £2 million. It's aimed at startups, early stage companies, fast growing small businesses, established SMEs, small businesses looking to relocate to the north of England, and businesses unable to source funding from banks or other investors. However, the fund won't refinance existing commercial borrowing or help bail out failing businesses. There are a few other restrictions. Businesses in the property or nuclear energy sectors aren't normally eligible, nor are those in agriculture, although an agricultural business diversifying might be, so it's worth checking. Loans can be used for working capital, stock purchases, to buy plant and machinery, take on staff, move to new premises, marketing and to launch new products, but not to repay existing debt. To find out more about the Northern Powerhouse Investment Fund, contact Cumbria Business Growth Hub. Thanks for your time.